When a child is on a horse, their pelvis moves in a way that's remarkably similar to human walking. This rhythmic movement helps organize the brain and nervous systems and can improve things like muscle tone, balance, posture, and even visual tracking, all skills that can impact reading and writing. I'm Jenny Scherson, ex-special educator turned dyslexia interventionist. It wasn't so long ago that I, too, was overwhelmed by balanced literacy versus structured literacy, education speak, and everything in between. Fast forward after many, many hours of self-driven education, and you'll see I've built a thriving dyslexia practice helping students from age 6 to 18. My specialties? Working with the quote-unquote difficult, almost always 2E, student, and breaking down the complexities of dyslexia into everyday language, strategies, and action steps. When you think about helping your dyslexic child, horses probably aren't the first thing that comes to mind. But there's a fascinating connection between equine therapy and learning differences that's worth exploring. Today, we're going to look at how working with horses can complement traditional reading intervention and support your dyslexic child's overall development. Before we dive in, I want to emphasize that equine therapy isn't a replacement for structured literacy instruction. We talked about that importance back in episode number 14, when we discussed the OG approach. Instead, think of equine therapy as another tool in your toolbox, one that can support your child's confidence, focus, and overall learning journey. Let's start with why horses. What is it about these amazing animals that can make such a difference for dyslexic kids? It comes down to three key areas: movement, nonverbal communication, and confidence building. First, let's talk about movement, specifically through hypnotherapy. Now, you might be thinking, hypno what? Hypnotherapy comes from the Greek word hippos, meaning horse, and it's a specific type of therapy where occupational, physical, or speech therapists use the movement of the horse as part of their treatment strategy. This is different from therapeutic riding. In hippotherapy, a licensed therapist is using the horse's movement as a therapy tool, like they might use a therapy ball or balance board in a clinic. When a child is on a horse, their pelvis moves in a way that's remarkably similar to human walking. This rhythmic movement helps organize the brain and nervous systems and can improve things like muscle tone, balance, posture, and even visual tracking, all skills that can impact reading and writing. Programs like High Hopes in Connecticut and Easter Seals in Southwest Florida offer both hypnotherapy with licensed therapists and therapeutic riding programs. Here's where it gets really interesting. Hypnotherapy can help with core strength and posture. Think about sitting still to read. Visual tracking, essential for reading. Bilateral coordination, needed for writing and typing. Sensory processing, which can affect focus and attention. Speech and language skills through the rhythmic movement of the horse. The second piece is nonverbal communication. Horses are incredibly sensitive to body language and energy. Working with horses requires children to be present in the moment and aware of their own body language. During hypnotherapy sessions, therapists often combine this natural horse-human interaction with specific therapeutic goals. For example, a speech therapist might use the motivation of directing a horse to encourage communication, while an occupational therapist might use the horse's movement to help develop motor planning and sequencing skills. And this brings us to confidence, probably one of the biggest benefits of both hypnotherapy and therapeutic riding for dyslexic kids. We know from episode number 42, where we discussed the social emotional effects of dyslexia, that confidence can take a real hit when kids struggle with reading. But with horses, success isn't measured by how well you read or write. It's measured in moments. Maintaining balance during different horse movements, effectively communicating with both horse and therapist, mastering new skills each session. These victories build real, lasting confidence that extends far beyond the barn. Programs typically offer different approaches. Some children might benefit most from hypnotherapy with a licensed therapist who can target specific physical, occupational, or speech therapy goals. Others might do well in therapeutic riding programs that focus on horsemanship skills. Many kids actually benefit from both, starting with hypnotherapy and then transitioning to therapeutic riding as they progress. What's particularly interesting is how hypnotherapy can support the underlying skills needed for reading and writing. Think about it. When a child is on a horse, they're developing better eye control and tracking, improved spatial awareness, stronger midline crossing skills, enhanced rhythm and timing, and better balance and coordination. All of these skills create a stronger foundation for reading and writing tasks. A child who can better control their eye movements might track words more easily. One who's developed better spatial awareness might have an easier time with letter formation. If you're interested in exploring hypnotherapy or therapeutic riding for your child, start by looking for programs accredited by the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship International. That's PATH. Both High Hopes and Easter Seals are examples of accredited programs that maintain high standards of safety and effectiveness. Look for programs that have licensed therapists on staff if you're specifically interested in hypnotherapy. When considering a program, don't hesitate to ask questions like, are your therapists licensed and specifically trained in hypnotherapy? How do you develop individual treatment plans? How do you measure progress? How do you incorporate educational goals into therapy sessions? Remember, every child is different, and what works for one might not work for another. But if your child is struggling with the physical, sensory, or motor aspects of reading and writing, hypnotherapy might be worth exploring as part of their overall support plan. If you have any further questions about hypnotherapy and dyslexia, please feel free to sneak into my inbox. I'd also love your input. What would you like to hear from me in the future? Is there a topic we haven't covered yet that you really want to learn more about? Send me a DM on Instagram or drop me an email at jenny@literacyuntangled.com. That's JENNIE @literacyuntangled.com. I can't wait to hear from you. Until next time, bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Literacy Untangled. If you loved this episode as much as I did, head on over and rate and subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you want to continue the conversation or share your takeaways, head on over to our Instagram @Literacy Untangled and comment on your favorite part. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. Bye.